Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Connect with KB. It's so great to have you tuning in as we talk about business, education, leadership, and all the wonderful things that connect us to each other. My guest today is someone who has made my life so incredibly rewarding, entertaining, adventurous, and so full of love that at times, like so many other moms, I feel that my heart could burst right open. She is fierce, emotionally intelligent, a go-getter, smart as a whip, and one of the most decent people on this planet. The magnitude of my love for her is all-encompassing. I want to welcome to the podcast my daughter, Brinn Beltzer.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, babe. I'm so glad to have you with me today.
It's a very humbling welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I mean every single word of it, and I'm so happy to have you on with me today. And I want to first start with the Brinn Beltzer story.
Yeah, it's a good one. I've enjoyed a great 25 almost years here. Grew up mostly in Hazlet, Michigan, and was very involved in sports throughout playing at Hazlet, and lots of lacrosse and golf and soccer and all those good things that come with growing up and being involved as a team player and everything like that. I continued that on to Grand Valley, somewhere I've always wanted to go. Joined my brother who golfed there, Christopher, and played lacrosse there for the first 3 years, and just, really trying to make my way here in the world and figuring things out as I go.
Well, you know what? I think that, even for me, I'm still trying to figure things out too. So don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Lifelong learning, right?
Absolutely. You know that. You've heard me say it a million times. We are all about lifelong learning. As a person on the cusp of 25, you just said it. How do you see yourself right now contributing to the world? And, what does this place in the world mean to you?
I feel like this is a very heavy question, and I'm going to take it a little lightheartedly as I just want to be a good person. I want to do good every day. And I think that comes in the little things of, when you're climbing a ladder and you get to the top, you're going to turn around and help the next person behind you. And I think you can leave it as little as that is you want to be a positive person in the world. You want to be a beacon of positivity and let that kind of just.
Well, and I think the sooner you figure that out, I think you really lay a strong foundation for yourself about being good and doing well in this world and helping other people. I think if you can figure out that it's not about you, you will especially figure that out when you become a parent, that it's not about you, that really when you give, you get so much in return. And it's very, very true. And
Absolutely.
So I applaud you and give you a big pat on the back for that response. As a Grand Valley State University graduate in 2019, you had a lot of options in front of you. You were an advertising and public relations major, and you went with an opportunity to be a nanny for some very good friends of ours in East Grand Rapids, Michigan. I want you to talk about how that experience changed you.
So I am a nanny in East Grand Rapids, as you said, for Michael and Angela Myers. I watched their amazing daughter, Maggie, and I think it is probably one of the greatest privileges of my life to be able to have been a part of hers. To watch her grow from this little tiny baby into this full-on functioning, funny, smart, brilliant little girl. There's a little feistiness that comes with her too. But
well, she is. I mean, the two of you are, as I said in the opening, fierce. You're fierce. I see the fierceness in her. I see the growth in her too, and her wonder for the world. And along with Angela and Michael, I think that you've contributed to that. And to see her learn so much every day, as parents out there who are listening know, every day is a learning experience, and they discover something new, and you see something in them that is new, and it starts to kind of expound on itself as, she's just getting ready to turn 5 years old, and you can see it every single day how much she is changing
Absolutely.
and absorbing the world, and you've had a big hand in that. It's interesting to see and lay the foundation for that. I've said to you many times, when we talked about careers and working, that in so many ways you are already a CEO because you are building a little human. And
Yes.
I don't think that there's anything probably more important in this world than the growth and development of young people. So a really great opportunity for you. And Michael and Angela have just been wonderful to you. And so I so appreciate that as well.
An amazing experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, and even on the days that are a little tough. I mean, every day's not going to be easy going, and you see that right now.
Yeah.
And has it kind of helped you in terms of the style of parenting that you can see yourself doing?
Absolutely. I think, God bless her, I think every parent starts off having their guinea pig kid. And Maggie has a little bit gotten to be my guinea pig kid. And, she's learning with me every day as I'm learning with her. And we work with each other very well. So I always say that she will be my number one employee of the month.
Yeah.
And she'll always have that place right there. But.
Well, I can see her someday. The tables will turn, and I suspect that she will probably be watching your kids at some point too. So
full circle.
Just interesting about the full circle. You
Absolutely.
Bet. Let's talk a little bit about your love for travel, where you've been and where you'd like to go.
Oh, yes. I think I have to start. My favorite place I've ever been was Rome with you this past February. That was just an incredible experience, and to be able to experience it with my mom has just been life-changing. I've also been to Mexico. I've been to the Dominican Republic. I've been to Colombia, London, Scotland, Ireland. Have kind of just dibble-dabbled everywhere around the world, and I think that's one of the greatest things you can do is to continue to explore your boundaries and to get yourself out of your head and what you know, and realize how, in a great way, we're so insignificant here, and that how everything else in the world is all about other people.
Well, and it kind of gets back to kind of what you said before about figuring that out real quickly. And, the opportunity to travel is such an eye opener. I will tell you, and I'll tell the listeners that, not only did we fly into Rome, but, then took the train to Florence, as well as back down to Amalfi. We went to Positano and Sorrento, back to Rome. I could not have, as much as I think that I am perfectly capable, I'm telling you what, I don't know that I could have navigated that whole thing without you. You were so on top of it, so on top of the train station and about where we needed to go and where we needed to be, and, calling for a car for us and all that kind of thing. And, I told you that by the time that we got, to Sorrento, which was probably 5 or 6 days later, I would have probably still been in Florence trying to figure out what we were supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
So if anybody out there wants a little tidbit of advice, go travel with your kids, because I'm telling you what, they can navigate and be great tour guides for you.
Definitely.
You decided to stay in Grand Rapids after graduation.
I did.
What are some of the things about Grand Rapids that you like the best?
I bought a condo downtown Grand Rapids in the fall. So this is going to be my first summer living right downtown Grand Rapids, not on the outskirts. And I am in love with the walkability. I'm in love with the economic development. There's constantly new businesses opening, and I always want to be one of the first ones in the door supporting those businesses, and, just continuing to grow with Grand Rapids and promote these new experiences, these new businesses coming into town. And I truly love that. I love the ability to be close to the water, with the Grand River being right there, and being able to get out to the beach, but also being able to be extremely close to farmland. And there's, some great zoos right around us, and just being able to explore, especially with Maggie, and having the time to be able to take her and to live within our community.
Well, that's one of the things that I have so admired about the job that you have in the care for Maggie is the amount of activities that you do with her. You're always looking up things that are fun to do.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody who knows you well sees all the photos on Instagram and the visits that you take together. And I really think that part of that growth for her too is experiences, just like you and I. Having an opportunity to go to Italy was an eye-opener for us, and it really allows you to really see the world and be open-minded to people. Let's talk a little bit too about your age demographic, about being a young person, what you kind of wish for your generation. How do you see your life going forward? The amount of opportunities. We're living in a day and age now where there's a lot of I'm not going to say conflict, but there's a lot of angst about things that are happening in the world. You'll see right now the things that you're experiencing, I'm experiencing, things about inflation and where we are. Really kind of right-sizing the political tide right now, too, is something that probably needs to happen. How do you see some of these things for yourself?
I try to take everything with a grain of salt, whether it's coming from my side or an opposing side. I think that a lot of the world right now tries to view everything in black and white, and that's just not how it is. It's very gray, and I think there's a lot of open-mindedness that everybody needs to kind of come to terms with and approach conversations with kindness. You're not going to win anybody over by having an argument with them. We need to kind of share viewpoints in a way to where you're communicating with somebody and having a conversation. And I think that's how you kind of broach these subjects and how we can move forward and create better communities and a better political climate. But I think it really just comes down to being open-minded to seeing the other person's side in every situation.
I think that your generation is much better at that you have a tendency to take a step back a little bit more than we do. I think that, maybe some of my generation has been a little more reactive. And you guys have a tendency to sit back and be a little more contemplative about life and what's happening and not saying, listen, here's the deal. You know what? I can easily start spewing off about this right now, but I'm going to, kind of do a 24-hour cool-off period, and I'm going to think through it. And I think it bodes really well for you. Do you think that the COVID pandemic experience has changed the way that young people think and their experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a great moment for our country in a hardship to be able to slow down as a whole. Like physically, we couldn't do anything for a while. And I think that took us from being very individualistic to putting more of an emphasis on community and what that has done for us. And it's something that I think sometimes we take for granted. I just think, that it should be more of a going forward community type approach.
You bet. Yeah. And I see it too. And, I think the pandemic made me slow down. It certainly made me so much more grateful for the people around me, the people that I know care about me, that I want to spend more time with them. That was a little hard period of time when we were separated from each other and didn't have an opportunity to get together. And I see that people are still struggling from that. And it's been something that people have had to, adjust to in many ways about now getting back together with people and questioning whether they should do that or not, or if people are really a little more introverted now than they were prior to the pandemic, and this kind of concern about being out amongst a lot of people. And, I see that too, and I think slowly but surely people are coming out of it, but it's been a very, very difficult thing, I think, for a lot of people to have to manage. And I think that's why we're seeing so much an emphasis on mental health right now, because people have really struggled.
Absolutely.
There's a famous quote that says that children are the living messages that we send to a time that we will not see. I believe it's a testament about the future, and that we must give children the tools to see truth, hope, love, peace, understanding, and tolerance. What does that quote mean to you?
I think it just means you're trying to leave the world a better place. And long after you're gone, you hope your family generations can continue to create that trend of creating hope and peace and love and understanding. And you're continuously trying to make your community, the people you know, and everyone around you, including yourself, better.
What are some of those lessons that you think that you've learned from, not only from me, from your grandparents, your brother, the things that kind of ground you in who you are? And, it's so many times that I've caught myself saying something that my mom and dad would have said. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm turning into my mom and dad. I don't think that you can help that. Yes, I will continue to pray for you as you get older. What are those lessons that you think that you're learning that you think you'll pass on as well?
I hope I have the privilege to become more like my mom every day.
Oh,
Little shout out to Kristin Beltzer right over there. But I think the biggest lesson I've taken away, especially in the past couple of years, is that if it is not going to matter in 5 months, you do not need to ruin your whole day over it. And I think sometimes a lot of people get caught up in the moment. And if you do kind of pause, reflect, and you can see outside of that. And not every single action deserves a reaction. And I think that's something that's important to remember. And you don't need to, ruin a whole day over a bad morning. And we're constantly going to learn and change throughout our lives. Is things will always get better if that is your mindset of you can always make things better.
Well, that is so much of what you've taught me. I don't know that, some people do know that I moved to Grand Rapids last June to be closer to you and Chris. It was quite an adjustment for me. You and I had a lot of really, really good talks about it. I will be the first to say that there were moments that I thought, I got to come back to the Lansing region. This is just not going to be a good fit for me. But I kept putting one foot in front of the other, and every day got a little bit better. And you were such a big instrumental part of that, about helping me grow and change too. And
Absolutely.
At my age, to be able to see that and to come out here a whole year later, to say that, I enjoy living in Grand Rapids now. I enjoy the opportunity to explore the community. I still get to work in Lansing, which I get the best of both worlds. But
Yes.
I want you to know that I don't know I'd be sitting here today if it had not been for you and the help and guidance that you gave me. And so it's interesting that sometimes the parent becomes the child as well. And I know that the child becomes the parent. So you've been so helpful to me. How do you see your life in 5 years? What do you want to be doing?
Oh, goodness. KB, I hope we're right back here. We can recap what has happened.
Let's
over
do
the
it. You
past
want to?
5
Let's
years.
write. Yeah,
Yes.
let's write that down. I suspect you're in a wonderful relationship with a man by the name of Dan Rosicki, and he has been a great addition to our lives.
We're in a very exciting time of my brother and I are both in great relationships, and hopefully our family continues to expand over the next few years.
Brinn's brother, Chris, my son's getting ready. He's going to move into his first house this next week with his girlfriend, Abby Seelar, and we could not be happier for them. That's in Grand Rapids as well. And so a lot of interesting and great things happening. Do you see yourself exploring and doing new things and taking on new challenges?
I am always open and welcome to new opportunities. I'm extremely happy where I'm at. So I'm going to continue down this road and stay with Maggie for a little while. I've always wanted to get her to kindergarten. That's always been my goal.
Yeah, that is great. I can't wait to see that first day of kindergarten photo. As you look kind of back and you reflect on the times with her, and you kind of think going forward about your life, it's hard to imagine how different you can be in a span of 5 years. You're so different than you
Absolutely.
were 5 years ago. You were still in college. You didn't have a lot of money.
Yes.
You were still trying to figure it out. And so even 5 years from now, when you get to be 30, you're still going to be saying that too. I'm still saying that at my age.
Yes.
And so as you look forward, I see the hope and joy in your life that you have right now, that you look towards the future for great things. How do you think that this will bode for you when you have kids as well? And what do you think that foundation will be like?
I hope it reflects a lot of what my childhood looked like. A lot of sitting around the kitchen, having a little kitchen island education.
We have done that so many times, haven't we? And I mean, it has been to the point where we sat there and we had a lot of really, really good times, a lot of laughs, but we did a lot of crying around that kitchen island too.
A lot of come to Jesus moments over there.
We sure did. And, it's not easy parenting. It is not. And, I see so much now the blessing in you and the time that you and your cousins have had with your grandparents, because it's been so beautiful to watch you be with them and see the change in them too, in being grandparents versus being parents.
Oh, yes. And I have a fantastic relationship with my grandparents. They've been there for me every turn of the way. Neville Miller supporting me in every single endeavor I've ever been to and taking me to every single golf and sports practice that he could, and teaching me how to drive.
Teaching you how to drive. Yeah, I remember those days, and I think that he was letting you kind of go around the block. I'm not even sure you had your permit license yet. But
yeah, I'm not sure that was exactly legal on Neville's part, but we'll let it slide.
Yeah, we're going to let that slide. I want you to know you are the joy of my life. I love you dearly. I love your brother dearly. You have brought me so much happiness. I have found great fulfillment in being your mother, and I'm looking forward to us going forward.
Everything we are is because of you.
I love you, babe.
I love you too.
I want to thank my guest. Boy, what a pleasure it's been for me to have her on today. My daughter, Brinn Beltzer. She is the world's greatest daughter. I know everybody says that about their daughter, but I'm going to tell everybody she is the world's greatest. I also want to thank my supporting sponsors, Dowding Industry, Governmental Consultant Services, AF Group, Public Affairs Associates, and Mercantile Bank. You can listen to all of my podcasts at connectwithkb.com. Until we connect again, go live your best life. I'm your host, Kristin Beltzer.